Once a man overwhelmed by anger and frustration came to Gautam Buddha seeking guidance. His emotions controlled him, and he longed for a way to regain his peace. With a calm smile, Buddha gestured for the man to sit beside him. "Let me tell you a story," Buddha began gently. "The tale of two kings. Long ago, there was a king who ruled a prosperous and thriving kingdom. One day, he decided to visit a neighboring kingdom renowned for the wisdom of its ruler. Curious to meet this wise king, the visiting king embarked on his journey. When he arrived, the wise king welcomed him with great honor and arranged a lavish feast in his honor. The atmosphere was grand and filled with joy as both kings sat together at the banquet table. However, during the feast, the visiting king noticed a fly had landed in his soup. His face twisted with disgust. "Servant," he called out angrily, "bring me another bowl of soup immediately." The wise king watched this unfold and spoke softly. "Your Majesty, please do not let this small matter anger you. It is just a fly. It does not matter." But the visiting king snapped back, "I cannot tolerate such things. Even a small fly can ruin my mood." The wise king smiled knowingly and said, "Your Majesty, allow me to offer some advice. It is not the fly that has ruined your mood. It is your reaction to it. You have the power to control your emotions. Do not let them control you." The awakening of the king. The visiting king paused, reflecting on these words. On his journey back to his kingdom, he replayed the wise king's advice in his mind. He realized the truth. His emotions were not dictated by external events, but by his own reactions to them. From that day forward, he resolved to practice patience and restraint. When situations arose that would have previously triggered his anger, he paused, took a deep breath, and chose not to react impulsively. Over time, he found he could maintain his composure even in the most challenging moments. A timeless lesson. This story from Buddha holds an essential truth for all of us. It is not external events, but how we choose to respond that determines our peace. By learning to master our reactions, we can lead calmer, more intentional lives. Stay tuned for the continuation of this lesson as Buddha's wisdom unfolds further. The challenge of reacting without thinking. As humans, we often react to situations without thinking, and these impulsive reactions can lead to negative consequences. When we respond to challenges with anger or frustration, it can harm our relationships and cloud our ability to make clear, rational decisions. However, choosing not to react impulsively does not mean suppressing our emotions. Emotions are a natural and essential part of the human experience. It is crucial to acknowledge them and process them thoughtfully. Instead of letting emotions control our actions, we should take a moment to reflect and respond in a mindful manner. The story of Michael, a journey to emotional control. In another part of the world, there was a young man named Michael. Michael was a deeply emotional person, but his impulsive reactions often caused more harm than good. When upset, he would lash out, say hurtful things, and ultimately damage his relationships with others. One day, Michael realized the toll his uncontrolled emotions were taking on his life. Determined to change, he began practicing mindfulness and meditation. These practices helped him become more aware of his thoughts and emotions, allowing him to pause before reacting. Michael also started adopting the art of non-reaction. When faced with situations that would typically trigger his anger or frustration, he would take a deep breath and step back. Instead of reacting on impulse, he would assess the situation calmly and respond thoughtfully. The journey to mastery. At first, it wasn't easy for Michael. He still felt anger and frustration, but he resisted the urge to act on those emotions impulsively. With time and consistent practice, however, controlling his emotions became more natural. Michael began noticing a transformation within himself. He was no longer a prisoner of his impulses. His relationships improved, and he found greater peace and clarity in his decisions. The practice of mindfulness and thoughtful response allowed him to approach life's challenges with confidence and composure. Michael's transformation, the power of emotional control. As Michael practiced mindfulness and mastered the art of not reacting, his relationships with others began to flourish. He no longer found himself caught in arguments or hurting people's feelings. Instead, his calm and thoughtful demeanor allowed him to communicate effectively, fostering deeper and more meaningful connections. A friend in need. One day, a close friend of Michael's came to him for advice. The friend was struggling with a difficult situation and feeling overwhelmed with frustration. Michael listened attentively, his presence radiating calmness. After hearing his friend's concerns, Michael offered comforting words of support and encouragement. The friend smiled with gratitude. "You always know just what to say," he said. "You never seem to get angry or upset." Michael returned the smile and replied, "It's not that I never feel angry or upset. I've just learned to control my emotions and not let them control me. It's a powerful skill that has transformed my relationships and brought me peace." Sharing the wisdom. Curious, the friend asked, "How did you learn to do this?" Michael shared his journey of practicing mindfulness and embracing the power of non-reaction. He explained how these practices had taught him to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. Encouraging his friend to try mindfulness for himself, Michael left him inspired to embark on his own journey of emotional control. Michael's legacy. As time went on, Michael became known for his calm and resilient demeanor. People admired his ability to handle difficult situations with grace and ease. His strength and patience became a source of inspiration for others, and his life reflected the peace he had cultivated within himself.
The stories of the king and Michael share a timeless moral. We hold the power to control our emotions. While we may not be able to control what happens to us, we can always choose how we react. Through mindfulness and the art of non-reaction, we can master our emotions and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This practice is transformative. It strengthens our relationships, enhances our well-being, and elevates our overall quality of life. By cultivating this powerful skill, we can create a life filled with peace and intentionality. Buddha's teachings remind us of the profound truth about anger and control. Anger will never disappear so long as thoughts of resentment are cherished in the mind. Anger will disappear as soon as resentment is forgotten. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only harms us. He who holds back rising anger, like a skilled charioteer controls a rolling chariot, is a true master. Others are merely holding the reins. Self-control is the greatest form of strength. One who conquers himself is greater than another who conquers 1,000 enemies on the battlefield. Mastering your mind is the most significant victory you can achieve. Be led by actions, not reactions. Do not allow emotions to dictate your actions. Choose your response thoughtfully. Peace comes from within. Seek peace within yourself, not in external circumstances. In a conflict, anger clouds the truth. The moment anger arises, we stop striving for truth and start defending ourselves. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Cultivate thoughts of compassion, kindness, and peace, and they will shape your life. You are not punished for your anger, but by your anger. Anger harms you more than it does others. Letting go of it brings freedom and happiness. The root of suffering is attachment. Release attachment, and you will find liberation and joy. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. Likewise, if you want to be happy, practice compassion for yourself and others. Letting go gives us freedom. True freedom is the foundation for lasting happiness. As long as we cling to anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. True freedom comes when we let go. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Respond, don't react. Respond with reason, not emotion. In the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. He who experiences the unity of life sees his own self in all beings and all beings in his own self. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The only way to find true happiness is to let go of your attachment to things and people. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. An idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only in thought. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your actions. There is no fire like passion, no shark like hatred, no snare like folly, and no torrent like greed. What we think, we become. With our thoughts, we make the world. The mind is like water. When it is turbulent, it is difficult to see. When it is calm, the answer becomes clear. If you want to fly, you have to give up what weighs you down. If you want to change the world, change yourself first. The trouble is, we think we have time, but time is fleeting. When the mind is calm, everything becomes clear. It is like a sharp blade cutting through chaos without causing harm. Wisdom does not lie in following the footsteps of those before us, but in seeking what they sought. Purity or impurity does not come from others. It depends on ourselves, for no one can cleanse another's soul. Let us be grateful each day when we wake up. If we didn't learn much today, at least we learned a little. If we learned nothing, at least we didn't fall ill. And if we did fall ill, at least we are still alive. Gratitude transforms even the smallest moments into profound blessings. The past is already gone, and the future is yet to come. The present moment is the only time we truly have to live. Idleness is the shortest path to death, while diligence is the way to live a full life. The wise are diligent, while the foolish drift aimlessly in laziness. Hatred can never be extinguished by more hatred. It can only be overcome by love. This is an eternal truth. What we pursue with our thoughts and intentions becomes the inclination of our mind. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. Do not look for strength or salvation in others. Everything lies within you. Only by loving what you do can you achieve greatness. If you haven't found it yet, keep searching, and do not settle. When your heart feels it, you will know you've found it. The greatest glory in life is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. No one can save us but ourselves. No one can walk the path for us. Each of us must take our own steps toward our truth. To live fully, we must open our hearts and embrace the present moment. The past teaches us lessons, the future inspires us, but it is the present where life truly unfolds. Let love replace hatred, gratitude replace despair, and action replace delay. The journey is not about perfection, but about persistence. We fall, we rise, and we move forward, stronger with each step.